Hi, I'm Lonneman. I'm one of UTD's Eco Reps. For today's Digital Earth Day video, I'm going to be talking about the community garden that we have on campus. It's a volunteer-run thing by students, organized by the OSV, which is our Office of Student Volunteerism, and it's done almost entirely by staff and students, and it's a pretty neat organization. Most of what I'm going to be talking about today is kind of how we run things, how we organize things, why we do some of the things that we do, some of the gardening practices, and a lot of how we get students involved, and particularly how that relates to the UN Development Goal 11, which is sustainable communities. With our lovely greenhouse, because this is one of the first ways that we start to get students involved in. The greenhouse is one of the smaller but most important parts of our garden, because it's one of the first things that gardeners get to experience whenever they volunteer. We have two different types of volunteers at the community garden. We have regular garden helpers, and they're people who come just once a month. It's a much more casual thing, and they just help out wherever we need them to. And then we have people who actually own plots, and I'll show the plots in a little bit. But plots are, designated parts of land where people can grow whatever they want. And in the greenhouse, people can come. You can see these are eric seedlings and plant seedlings in here. But the garden helpers also get to help with that. Seedlings are certainly one of the more interesting and easy to do parts of gardening. And so it's a really good way to get a lot of students involved in something that's very exciting, very rewarding, because they sprout super quickly. They can come back in a month and see how big their tomato seedlings have gotten very quickly. This is how I got started in the garden too. About a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago, I think, I came to one of the volunteer work days and helped a more experienced gardener plant their seedlings. And then now I have all these guys marked with the BB, because they're part of a different project. That's why they're not marked with my name, but they're mine. I now have these guys growing, and other garden volunteers helped me, and now some of them, such as I think this guy down here, not really sure, now have their own plots as well. One of the most frightening things about learning to garden whenever you don't know anything is that there's just so much information, and it's really hard to figure out what to do. So we make sure to keep posted information about when to plant what kind of companion plants to use in our community garden. And if anybody's thinking about, doing something like this or running a community garden, this is something that's been really helpful for us, because experienced gardeners are always very helpful, and it's very good to have them around. But whenever people come here by themselves, or whenever they just need to figure out when they need to transplant their tomatoes, it's really good to just have that information available for them. Now we're going to go to our more exciting stuff, which are our actual plots. The style of bed that we use is the French raised bed. As you can see, the wood piece on the bottom comes up about I think that's about 8 inches. And we have these pipes going over the top, and then we just fill that soil in. The reason that we use this particular style of raised bed is it makes it very easy to add extra compost, extra soil amendments, anything that you want to do to make the soil better without actually digging up a lot of the dirt or a lot of the compost. And that's a big problem whenever you are working on a college campus or something and you can't disrupt a lot of the soil. So doing raised beds really sections it out very well. Hoop houses, as we call them, are the PVC pipes around our plots, and also bird netting. For any of you guys who garden a little bit, you may know what these are for, but it's just to add structure to keep rabbits out, because those are a really big problem on our campus especially, and birds. But as you can see, they might also cause problems, because some of our plants get quite a bit bigger. Once a gardener has been volunteering here for a while, it's about 3 months, they can move up to a plot instead of just helping out in the greenhouse. And they can actually have a plot of land. As you can see, our plots are pretty big, so we actually start out giving them half at a time, so they'd start about that middle hoop all the way to the end, and then this other half would belong to somebody else. And if they've been good stewards of their plot, as you can see, this artichoke is huge, they can actually move up and eventually get a full plot of land. And this one is our herb garden. The plants grow really fast, and people usually don't need very many, so any gardener can come and take whatever they want. To keep the garden healthy, we do have to limit what people can grow. For example, mint will choke out anything that it grows with, so we have a couple of these smaller containers where people can grow mint and take it, as long as they don't plant it in their plots. It helps keep the garden sustainable and help us from being overrun. Garden work days are really where most of the actual events start happening, the harvesting and the planting and everything. And those are days once a month, I think I mentioned that earlier, where all the volunteers, including the plot holders, all come out and we do things like harvesting, we mulch, we take some of this stuff and we help spread it out, we got our pile of compost, and we also make sure to weigh all of the produce that we've harvested. So for example, if I'm harvesting this broccoli, I would weigh it, I would categorize it, I'd write it down and record it, because part of having a sustainable community is making sure that we're actually producing food. And we all take home everything that we want, and anything that we don't, we leave for other people to take. That way no food is wasted. The garden started pretty small. In fact, it had to be moved 2 times. This is actually the 3rd iteration. But you can see it's gotten pretty expansive. We have, I think, about 30, 40 plots. We have other organizations who are helping us out now. You can see we've got our greenhouse and our shed, and this mural was done by another organization on campus. We have 20 to 30 people show up for our work days who are all, getting educated about sustainability and growing things, not to mention the people who show up regularly and all the people who just revolve in and out or stop by to help out. Anyway, I'd really encourage, if other campuses, other places, if you've got the time, the space, community garden, we're in a parking lot, we made it work. It's been a great time, great experience. I've had a blast. I know a lot of other people have really enjoyed their experience at the community garden, and it's a good time all around. A lot of people really learn a lot, and they get a lot of good food to eat and to make things with. So happy Earth Week, everybody.